Welcome back everybody for the final race before the summer break. Today we're going to talk Lando vs Oscar, Max vs Lewis, Deadpool Alpine looking a little bit like the Alfa Sauber, and of course all about the upcoming race at Spa-Francorchamps, which is round 14 of 24 this season. Oscar vs Lando. It did go on for too long in my opinion. We've heard from Toto Wolff in the past where he's jumped on the radio when Lewis has been a little bit too argumentative about what's happening, just to say get on with it in effect. I think Andrea Stella may well reflect perhaps he could have jumped on sooner to do something similar. Will Joseph immediately told Lando the intention was always to swap. Then he started on about the tyre management, twice, with Lando eventually coming back saying Oscar needs to catch up. At this point, in my opinion, everything's fine. It's the next bit really where McLaren, via Joseph or even Stella, should have come in and made it a lot clearer that it was a request and not a debate. With the final couple of messages, not a great look for the team nor the driver, and they'll certainly need to sharpen on this sort of decisions and calls in the future. Let's be clear though, it's a team game and it's a team results that score prize money, so orders are required to maximise that. For me, it was the right call to switch them back. Because, no matter Lando's points, he was only ahead in that moment because the team switched them. So Oscar didn't have the chance to defend his own position. Lando catching and passing is completely different to him being given that priority in the pit stop, which is almost always reserved for the leading driver in any team. He was therefore in the lead because of a team order and therefore should have returned to formation with the follow-up order to retain the status quo and carried on from there. Overall, though, you've got to say, a brilliant win for Oscar, a great result for McLaren with a 1-2, and overall I think the whole team will be absolutely delighted with how the weekend went. Max vs Lewis, another brilliant little battle as well. It was a great race, okay, maybe not all of it, but there was plenty of intrigue from start to finish, and the battle between the McLaren duo and Max, Lewis, Charles meant the top three was never really clear-cut right until the end. Verstappen was definitely a little rash attacking Hamilton, and he paid the price, with the stewards obviously happy that his drop down to 5th was punishment enough. Mercedes overall though were just not quicker than Max, so he gave up a few more points than was necessary there. McLaren will certainly need more of that if they are to catch him in the Drivers' Championship, although in terms of constructors it's certainly game on. It was really nice though to see some additional battles up and down the field, and knowing that straightforward start to flag victory for the Red Bull, or anyone else for that matter, isn't really going to happen anymore. It's much more about driving the car efficiently, getting really good strong team calls, and making sure that you're maximising every opportunity to get the results. Despite those radio calls we just spoke about, McLaren actually did improve here overall compared to the last few races. It was a bit of a nightmare week for Alpine though, right from qualifying, what a disaster for them, and then the race really wasn't much better. That said, I do really love their Deadpool Wolverine look for this weekend, even though at first look I did think it was a rehash of the Alfa Romeo Sauber. Let's be honest, is this team actually now going to be racing in 2026? Looking at major parts from a competitor, such as Mercedes, would certainly suggest not as a Renault-owned team, with the team certainly now looking to downsize into a semi-works team. I mean, is that even a thing? It is possible and more likely in my view that this entire outfit is now up for sale. So, Team Andretti anyone? I think it'd be a fantastic opportunity for him to buy in and get past that stupidity clause that other teams trying to hold him from getting in. He'll be able to buy the team and just get going with whatever engine he needs to start with, and then eventually get his GM works deal going. Big question for me though is what about those engines? I wonder if McLaren or even Williams might go knocking on Renault's door here as a result and just see what's happening. Renault have a long and successful history in F1 and are rarely far from being involved, so I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see them back sooner rather than later. This weekend I've just watched the wet quali, and with Verstappen's grid drop this presents a real mix near the front. Sergio was right up there again and he certainly needs to be for his own sake, plus Ferrari and Mercedes looking a lot better than last weekend. It's another pole for Leclerc. Fantastic for him, and Ferrari will be absolutely delighted after a couple of iffy races for them. The race though, it's looking dry, and Friday's free practice certainly showed McLaren looked very confident in those conditions, as did Max. With 2 DRS zones and the long run through Erouge, Raidillon to the end of the Camel Straight, there's going to be lots of overtaking here. But the teams have to split between the wetter setup for today's quali and the drier setup for tomorrow's race. So is this what held McLaren back? Or have Ferrari and Red Bull aced this and got it right for both sets and conditions? I certainly fear Max will be coming through the fields, although maybe not quite as easy as a couple of seasons ago in the absolute dominant RB18. Both McLaren drivers, they will certainly need a good opening lap to make up places early if they're going to get this win. My prediction, I do feel McLaren still has the strongest car, so Lando Norris should be able to take the victory. The way Perez has been in recent months, you certainly feel he might drop back. That's exactly when you can expect a result though, because he's still in a top car, and therefore I do feel he can get the better of Leclerc. It's more a case, can he hold back both McLarens and hold on to that second? If he can stay ahead of Oscar, I think he takes the second step. If both Oscar and Lando get ahead, I can also see Max catching, and he'll be asked to step aside to ensure Max doesn't lose too many championship points. So I'll say Lando, Oscar, Max for the podium. Perez though, he is definitely going to be the party pooper, or certainly could be, and stop McLaren from winning. And if he can do that, he's probably going to stop his teammate winning as well. Have a good one, enjoy the race, like and subscribe please dudes, and I'll speak to you soon.